Just in case we talk about something good. So it looks like Martin is out. Are there any demos? Not to put you all on the spot, but are there any demos worth demoing ad hoc that you're wildly unprepared for?
Not particularly. I was doing performance improvements. We've found a lot of CSS to trim, so that's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Yulian.
Go ahead. Yeah, just update on the view issue list. The performance, it's not improving drastically. I mean, we're always going to be slower than server-side rendering it. So just getting it out there. Yeah. So we're using startup.js. That took care of the initial fetching time. So we are fetching like right away as soon as the page loads. So that did improve the performance, but I don't think we're going to see a drastic improvement from this point on. So yeah. I think Simon suggested that we can maybe we should just build the issue list on the server side and then show that temporarily until we can build issue list on the front end side. So that's one option.
So you synchronously render something to respond to the initial request with, and then async fetch and update that content.
Correct. Yep.
Which would then improve your, I can't remember exactly what we're measuring, first contentful paint or whatever.
Largest LCP, I think. Yeah.
LCP, thank you.
Yeah, largest contentful paint. Content paintful.
So that would improve your LCP.
Yes. But the downside is that, as we get more complex, let's say we do, a small modification to the issue list, say we display blocking issues count, then we will have to make that change on the server side as well. And then the layout will not be, always, there will always be a little, just a tad bit of difference. So that's one thing.
Yeah. The question is like, what's the user interaction pattern here? Like, is it, you request a list of issues, you likely spend some time reading them, like consuming the list, and then make a decision on how to either update your list or click into one. So maybe that's not all that bad if you want that path.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll just
something to think about, I guess.
Yeah.
And thanks for setting appropriate expectations, Yulian.
I'm really sorry. I looked at it for long and they just couldn't squeeze out anymore, performance out of this. Yeah.
It's good. I mean, part of us doing this now is to spend the investigation time, right? To understand and iterate on it in the future. So
if we do decide to move on to, single page app, saying like issue list combined with the issue, like the show page, then we will have considerably faster, interaction times. So.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Right. It's no small effort. Okay, cool. Anything else worth discussing?
I can give an update on swim lanes if that's interesting to anyone.
I was gone last week, so I have no idea. So I'd love to hear.
Okay, so there's no demo because I'm working on pagination and it's in progress and there's nothing visual yet. I've just been like splitting queries and maintaining the current behavior we have on classic boards for GraphQL classic boards. So visually it's exactly the same. It's faster though in GraphQL compared to the REST API, which is interesting. I had a meeting with Alexis this morning to discuss the user experience of pagination for swim lanes because it's quite complex. Like we paginate issues, paginate epics. So we've come up with an agreed solution for MVC, and then like we can always iterate on it later if there are some issues with it. So yeah, so pagination is in progress. There is still quite a bit of work to do for swim lanes to be ready. We're doing the hardest bits now, which is pagination and then drag and drop. And there's still quite a bit of work left on the sidebar as well.
Sure.
But it's progressing.
Good. Do you mind linking that issue, or if there's an issue or notes from the conversation you and Alexis had, or point to wherever that you've captured
no,
the
we
agreed
don't.
decision?
No, but I should document it. So I created an issue for pagination actually, which I will link in the agenda. And what I'll do is, oh, it's not working. I'll document in there.
Great.
My computer refuses to paste. Oh, it's working now. I'll document the agreed decision. There's still a bit of design to be done for it, which she will work on later. I'll try and describe it as much as possible without visuals until we have visuals.
Sure.
Yep.
Are you blocked by that by any chance?
No, I was. So I got blocked at the end of yesterday, but we caught up this morning. So now, we just needed an agreed solution for me to keep going. And now we have that. So I'm not blocked anymore. Yep.
Great.
All good.
Cool. Good. Excellent. Anything else?
Oh yeah, I just wanted to ask questions. Just if we have front-enders here.
Yeah.
So Vuex versus GraphQL, what's the direction going forward? Do we use GraphQL as our, client-side storage, or is it GraphQL? There seems to be.
Yes. For new things that don't have existing state management, then we're using Apollo and GraphQL. For some of the larger apps that had existing Vuex things, like issue boards is an example that we had started moving to Vuex, then we're keeping moving to Vuex, but we're using Apollo for the network part. So we can use them both. Like we can do the fetching and stuff with GraphQL using Apollo, but then the state management is still using Vuex.
Okay. All right. Since the startup JS, where the startup thing is not ready, I don't think it's ready yet with a GraphQL. It's going to incur some performance cost. Yeah. When we exclusively use,
we just use
because I measured requirement list issue list that's entirely written in Vue along with Apollo Vue, and just the LCP was not. It's something that would shock team and the others.
Yeah. Well, it's better if we have a slow measurement for the initial one, and then we can have a great improvement. You don't want to start out with it fast.
Under promise and over deliver, right?
Exactly. Improve later.
Cool. Any other questions, Julian?
Oh yeah, that was all. Yeah. A lot of confusion. Yeah, so many technologies these days, ever evolving. Yeah, never stale.
I used to have a meme or like a cartoon printed on my desk in an office when I worked at a place with an office, and it was something to the effect of an engineer looking at a pile of legacy code and the feature they needed to build, and then next to it was like a shiny new front end framework, and they would always gravitate towards the front end framework, which was also adjacent to my CSS is awesome mug, where it wasn't, the float wasn't cleared or whatever, and so it expanded past the container, the div or whatever. It was great.
I will defend that and say that CSS actually is awesome. And it's escaping the box, but it's behaving pretty intelligently there. Like, would you rather it cut off the text and it just said CSS is all?
Yeah, no, you're right. Absolutely. Yeah.
CSS is great. We just happen to have far too much of it.
That's true.
There's a stat for, the edit buttons in the sidebar?
Yes.
The little edit links to open drop downs and
them,
stuff?
you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
300 kilobytes of CSS.
No way. Just for the
No
node?
way,
No,
really?
for just the
Yeah.
buttons. For just the
for
buttons?
those buttons. Yeah.
On
Are
that
you gonna-
note about
Wow.
CSS, sorry, we are currently splitting CSS per page if anyone wants to get involved. And then we can clean it up.
Yeah.
better.
Tim actually mentioned it. Yeah, in Slack. So yeah, I was going to look at it today.
I've been doing a couple of those, and then once we are per page, it will be easier to remove dead code because we'll be able to analyze what's actually dead. Besides the fact that we have selectors that are way too long and too much CSS overall. That's the first step. Hopefully, by the end of it, we'll be able to reduce it even more.
That was I've been through many a projects that at different websites that did that had to do that work. So it's well worth it in the end. Do we actually, out of curiosity, do we tree shake?
We can't. So that's why we're splitting. We can't currently tree shake because all of the CSS is currently loaded on every page, whether it's needed or not. Like
Yeah.
the entire CSS for the entire
Yeah.
application is loaded on every page. Once we're split, because like if you tree shake on a page, it's going to tell you that 98% of the CSS is not used, which is not true because it's used in other parts of the application.
Right.
So once we're split, we can properly tree shake, and then we'll be able to clean up more easily.
Got it.
Yep.
Got it. That's great. Yeah, that led to some great performance improvements at Zillow, the place I worked before GitLab, was when we were able to we split our static all bundle, which was the same thing. Giant CSS file that loaded for every page, regardless of if that page needed it. And then we implemented tree shaking, and it was like night and day. It's great. Cool. Well, get the rest of your time back and enjoy your day, unless anyone has any parting words. But it was great to see you all.
Yeah. Thanks.
Same
I have
here.
nothing further.
Okay.
Thank you.
Have an awesome day. We'll see you in a week.
Bye.
You too.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye, everyone.